All right, it is 5 past the hour, so why don't we get started? Goodness, we have so much to talk about and so much to do, and I need to do this. That way I can actually see what's going on. So, yeah, why don't we get into it? Our streams, there we go. Woo! Welcome, welcome, welcome to today's stream. I love you all and I thank you so much for being here. We have so many things to talk about and so many things to get into. It's going to be a lot of fun. Pardon me. My voice is returning and I feel much better than I did last week. Not only that, but with the upcoming holidays, I won't I know I have, like I said, I haven't been as active as I was before. Because if I take a look at my stream schedule, I will be streaming this upcoming Tuesday, just Tuesday and maybe Thursday. And then there probably won't be any streams the week of Christmas, but there will probably be streams the week of New Year's. So you can, or actually no, that week of Christmas isn't so yeah, that's how it is. Thank you for the Dr. Pepper. Hope you're enjoying the Dr. Pepper. I actually don't have Dr. Pepper today. I just thank you for that, J-Droid. I really appreciate that. I actually have water with me today, actual real water, nice ice cold crispy water. So that's how that is. Ew, water. You've never had Dr. Pepper? Oh my goodness. Well, Dr. Pepper is good. Oh, we don't have that here? Oh, well. Maybe what we'll have to do is we'll have to send you a care package. We'll get you that. In the meantime, here's three on me. But yeah, let's talk about what we always do, which is our last stream, our next stream, and then our current stream. So our last stream that we had was actually on Tuesday, and we were playing Escape the Backrooms with Marie and Phantom. And let me tell you something, that was a lot of fun. I don't know anything about the whole Backrooms thing, and to me, it was such a trip to play a game like that, but surprisingly, it was a very well done game, where people clearly put a lot of time and effort into that, and it was really fun. I mean, aside from the audio problems are a staple. They're a staple for this channel, so I can't really say that they will never happen. Oh, you live in Greece and it's rare for drinks like that. For example, Bang Prime and all that are pretty rare. You won't find them. Ah, I see. Well, rest assured, we'll get you Dr. Pepper somehow. If we have to airdrop that into Greece, we'll get that there. But you know, you're not missing out on Bang. You're not missing out on Prime. Those are okay drinks. I mean, I don't think they're good. I don't drink drinks like Prime, because why get that when you can just get water, in my opinion. And the same with energy drinks. Energy drinks just don't have an appeal to me, like all that caffeine. So, but you know, there's a lot of regional things, especially country to country, that have a lot of really cool beverages that you can have. Probably just get a 6-pack of these in the future. You can probably order it off of the internet and get it that way. But yeah, playing Escape the Backrooms, it's super fun. It is. I might just realized. Could I? There we go. I was like, for the longest time, I felt like the text bubble was just a little odd. There we go. But yeah, so Escape the Backrooms was a lot of fun. And not only that, we had a pretty interesting discussion on the whole philosophy of why to be a content creator and why to stream, especially as a VTuber. And let me tell you something, when I have these conversations on stream and I talk about these kind of subjects that people don't really talk about, because the thing is, I don't really talk about a lot of things on stream that some, you know, will get rises or thoughts out of people, especially like current events or my thoughts on, you know, news or politics or anything like that. You don't like them and just have a friend that drinks everything. You put a cocktail with Red Bull protein. What? My gosh. Thank you. Out my ears. Thank you, Hive, for all the Dr. Pepper. Welcome, welcome. I really appreciate you being here. Here you go. This is for you. I tripped. I'm sorry. Hey, that's okay. But yeah, just having, I feel like I am blessed and in a unique position to be able to talk about these kinds of things, and not feel the pressure that comes with, oh, well, you don't, you know, you shouldn't talk about this stuff, or, you know, it's probably not wise, especially on a stream. I'm just thinking to myself, well, I think it is important for people to know the ins and outs and what goes on behind the VTuber curtain. And I was actually talking with my guest for tomorrow, Cynical, about it, and she also had some really interesting things to say about that too. So if you really, we'll probably have that discussion tomorrow, so I encourage you guys to check out that stream tomorrow with Cynical, where we're gonna be talking about a lot of stuff. So that's enough about that stream. Our next stream will be tomorrow, the VOD, 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, right here on its_Valentine, right here on Twitch. We will be talking with Cynical Beanicle. I think that's it. That's why I just say Cynical. So we'll be talking with her, and that'll be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to that. So catch me there with Phantom and I, and we're gonna have a really fun conversation. But as for today we are going to be having a lot of fun. It just occurred to me that, there we go, my mic was a little hot there. We're gonna be having a lot of fun today because we get to have a really cool guest, in my opinion, because, oh my goodness, as I do this show and I talk with people, anytime I get to speak with somebody who is not a Native American, let me rephrase that, somebody who is a resident of America and natively born here, it's always interesting to talk with people who are from outside the US, because they offer, why is it not a Native American? Because Native Americans are different. Picking my words. Somebody who is not born in America, it's always interesting to talk with people who are outside of the US, because they always bring unique insights and things that somebody who is born and raised in the US might not think about or consider. So having somebody from the UK, having somebody from Australia, I'll soon be having somebody who's from Japan, or who's in Japan currently, and then I'll have another person who is coming on later who's from a different country, which I won't talk about yet, but that'll be in the future. It'll be super fun. It's always super fun to see what kind of insights people bring. Hi, Bunny, what's going on? I love that. What is that? Is that emote? Hype. Oh, hype wave. Is that a pigeon? I love that. Pigeons are cool. Little quick thought. Fun fact: pigeons are actually for the most part, very clean. They're a very clean bird, but a lot of people don't like pigeons because they associate them with carrying diseases. That is not true. Pigeons don't typically carry diseases, nor do they carry sicknesses, and they're very sweet birds. So pigeons used to be prized avian creatures in the beginning of the century, that were used for racing and carrying things, but now they're just kind of seen as flying rodents, and pigeons are not. Pigeons are really cute, they're really adorable, and they're really fun to have, and they're actually pretty good to have as pets. Yeah, pet pigeon, see? So yeah, there's a little tidbit for the day. So without further ado, let me actually get into the show, because as you guys know, I talk a lot, and sometimes that can be pigeon stan alert. No, my mod Tathan is here. That means I gotta watch out for airstrikes. So yeah, I talk and I ramble and I get on with that. So let us start. I got mine from Rescue. Yeah, rescue pigeons are some of the coolest ones, because they've seen a lot, because people often don't treat them right. It makes me really sad. So, but pigeons are really cool birds. But anywho, we can talk about that a little later. Because for now, we're going to be talking about our guest. So today, we will be welcoming an English nobleman VTuber with Project Astadia and the Lord of the Manor at Castle Rexworth, overlooking the Rexworth estates. Now, he is known as your friendly neighborhood nice man, the resident rizz master with a... My gosh. Thank you, Shiro. Thank you, Shiro, for that. Glad to see you're here. Don't use all your points. That way you can get the Ara Ara. But going back to that, he is known as your friendly neighborhood nice man, your resident rizz master with a smashable voice and a purveyor of positive vibes. He streams a variety of... My gosh, my ears! You're like the second person to use that metal pipe, Tay. And I'm really sad more people don't use it. There's my water, I hydrated. You have no power here. I'm sorry, Hive. So he streams a variety of content from video games to just chatting and ASMR. And I see that, J-Droid, don't worry, I see that. So, if you want, we can have that now. Or I can do that when we actually have our guests on. That way, myself, Phantom, and maybe I wouldn't imagine our guest would, because our guest is a very regal individual. So, but I can always ask. So without further ado, please welcome our wonderful, wonderful guest. That is my capture card, and I was playing Dragon Ball FighterZ. That's really funny. Oh my gosh, that was glorious. Please welcome our wonderful guest, Lord Rexworth.
You really just can't help but like scuff it up.
Yeah,
no matter what, you have to add another layer of scuff. It's never enough.
So, oh my gosh, where is my guest?
You didn't roll out the red carpet.
Oh my goodness, where's my wonderful guest? Oh, there he is. That was really funny. I guess it just... FYI, Val is a coward who runs from fights. Yeah. So, sorry about that, y'all. I was playing Dragon Ball FighterZ against my mod Tathan earlier, and it was a really good fight where he won. It was a score of 2-2. So we still have to, after stream, we're gonna go back into that and see who will win that fight. So that, I don't think that'll be on stream. Who knows? If anything, come in the Discord and maybe we'll play that in general and we can show people. But yeah, anywho, that's not about this. This is our wonderful show. Our wonderful guest, Lord Rexworth. Say hello. How are you doing?
Hello, everyone. Oh, I'm doing all right, Val. How about yourself?
Scuff.
It happens. It's all right.
Oh my goodness. Oh. But yeah, so this is our wonderful guest. Not only that, I have my wonderful co-host here, the Phantom Fame. Now, he couldn't be here on set, so instead he's possessing the spirit, or the wonderful Gojo figure we have here. So I just want to put that out. Go support him. He is close to 200 followers on Twitch. So please show our boy some support. Without further ado, Lord Rexworth.
Yes, sir.
There's a question I ask at the beginning. Welcome, Soul. It's been a little bit. Good to see you. Thank you for showing up, Nina. We love to see you here. There is one question that I always ask at the beginning of every single show, and that is, who are you, and what is your story?
Gosh, that's very open-ended question, and could take some time. It's a good thing we're all sitting down, eh? Right. So, I've got a background in radio broadcasting. Spent about 10 years in the business, mostly in American radio, actually. I didn't do anything, not much anyway, for, British radio or for anything in the EU or anywhere else, though I have had some reports filed as a journalist that went all around the world.
Wow.
So, and that's where I spent most of my time in radio, was in just mainly as a newsreader, reporting the travel situation in certain metro areas, and occasionally talking about the weather. That was the extent, and that's what paid the bills for me, just barely, for about 10 years. Finally, I said, you know what, it's time to get serious about making some real money. So went off and did some different things. And then earlier this year, maybe late last year, started having what I can only ascribe as like an early onset midlife crisis, or something resembling that anyway. And it was, I felt this need to scratch a sort of creative itch, as it were. Need to do something similar to what I was doing in my radio days. I did not want to go back into radio. I knew there was no future in radio. There's still no future in radio. I mean, who of our generation, of the younger ones, listens to the radio anymore? We don't, and that's the short answer. We get everything on our phones. We don't need DJs on music radio stations because we've got things like Spotify and Pandora and all these other apps on our phones where we can be our own DJ and we can decide what we want to listen to. Thank you very much. As far as news goes, don't really need news radio stations. We can get most of that in a news feed on our phones again. The mobile has sort of been the death knell of radio, as it were, and even of television to a certain extent. So I was kind of looking around, and I remember going back to watching some things that I'd watched at the height of COVID, where I'd kind of discovered VTubers. And discovered, the usual names, the Hololives and the Niji Sanjis, mostly from the JP at the time. A lot of the EN VTubers were still getting their start, but found a few of those as well. And I was like, this is rather fascinating that they have this ability to make this avatar move. It's almost like this sort of anime version of a marionette. And which is what I discovered. That's exactly what it was. Using the power of a software program and a webcam and a computer, you have what's essentially a 2D digital marionette that turns you into anime, as it were. And I thought, well, that sounds like a rather delicious little idea there. And so I thought, I want to do this, but I'm rather nervous about doing this. I don't know if I can do this. I've been out of radio for a long time. I haven't been behind a microphone in at least a couple of years, and felt so nervous about it. And so I don't know, one day I found myself stumbling into via, I think it was the link of like the 6 degrees of separation from I had watched a Hiro Hey video where he was quoting someone on Twitter who was a VTuber who had something rather interesting to say about a particular situation. I don't even remember what it was now, but I looked up that VTuber, and when I did look them up, it was Inatsu Shiroi with the Moonlighters. And as fortune would have it, she was streaming at the time, and I watched a stream, and I watched it. I interacted in chat for a bit, and then eventually connected with her community, with the Moonlighters, and took the rather brave and bold step, at least I thought it was at the time. She certainly didn't think it a big deal, as she confessed to me later on. And so I DM'd her. I said, look, I'm thinking I want to get into this VTubing business. If I were to do that, do you think it would be possible for me to just sort of, I don't know, collab or hang out in the background with you on one of your streams if you happen to be doing something with other people? I don't want to, steal the spotlight from anyone. And just being the rather chill, cool person that she is, she said, yeah, it's fine. She's like, you're going to need a PNG model at the very least, and everything all right.
Don't mind me. That's just dying on stream. Forgive me. That's why I have the water.
Please, it's bad luck for the guest. Don't do that.
So yeah, go the PNG and setting all that up.
Yeah. So I managed to craft a little PNG tuber for myself, figure out how Fugi Tech works, and then I think it was probably a week later, I was streaming with Inatsu Shiroi and Razorwind, both of the Moonlighters, and we were playing Fortnite together. I think we went for about 2-3 hours. I was absolutely exhausted at the end of it, but it was an absolute blast. I enjoyed myself thoroughly, and we talked for probably a good hour, the three of us afterwards, and just getting to know each other. And I made the decision. Then it's like, all right, I'm doing this, and I debuted a few days after that on a Sunday stream as a PNG tuber, and I think it was on Twitch, and I've been going ever since. So it's all thanks to Shiroi and Razor for giving me the chance. Razor eventually providing me with the 1.0 version of my model, which is actually quite a radical departure from what you see here on your screen today. And yeah, it was just I think the nerves subsided within like the first hour or two, and it felt like old hat. It just felt like it was almost like riding a bicycle. You never forget how to do it, really. And so much of this has been taking what I learned for many years, applying that from radio into VTubing, and just sort of growing and learning as an artist and as a content creator. And it's just been absolutely marvelous. And I've met some of the most wonderful people along the way, and now a member of a VTubing group, Project Astadia, which I owe them so much. We are truly like a family, all of us. And I mean, it's no exaggeration to say, if it hadn't been for them and for their help and for their guidance and advice, I probably would not have made affiliate on Twitch. I would probably still be, scrambling around, wandering in the wilderness, and still just kind of hoping and praying that, well, maybe someday I'll make it to affiliate. Maybe someday I'll be able to monetize this whole VTubing business. But in the meantime, I'm just happy to be doing all this. It's so much fun, and I can see why so many people want to make it a full-time thing. Some people have asked me how it is that I came up with the name Lord Rexworth, and that one is there's a story in that as well, and it's actually explained on an intro video on my YouTube page, which you can find by going to youtube.com and just typing in Lord Rexworth VT, and all of my links are available on lordrexworth.com. But the way it's kind of a blending of two different things. Rex is the Latin word for king, or for emperor or monarch, and it's what you see in a lot of the royal ciphers, like when Her Majesty the Queen Elizabeth was still alive, you would see a royal cipher that is ER and then the Roman numeral 2. Well, the R stands for Rex. We see this with King Charles III. It's CR and then the Roman numeral 3, and that's to denote that they are the rightful monarch and the person who reigns over their kingdom. And then Worth is there to I mean, it's one of those things where it's on one level, it's meant to sort of play into that whole the kayfabe and everything that I try to set up for myself. I am an English nobleman. I am a person of means who lives in a rather big fancy castle and wears rather expensive suits and does a lot of things. We don't really know how he made his money, but we know it's through mostly legitimate means. But it's also talking about the whole purveyor positive vibes things. It's there to say that my life as a human being, not just as a VTuber, but as a human being, has value. And every person's life has value. And so it's sort of a reminder that regardless of what anyone, even ourselves, may say or think, our lives have value. And each of us are immeasurably valuable. And how you carry yourself has an influence on how others see you. And the thoughts that we think towards ourselves can influence what we attract into our lives. There is a real and genuine law of attraction in this universe. I do firmly believe in that. And so I suppose in a way, when one sees or hears my name, it's not just a way of encouraging myself, but it's also a reminder that you yourself, how you carry yourself, that can have an influence, either good or bad, on how others see you. And so my encouragement is for everyone to arise with confidence, to square one's shoulders, and to crown yourself with assurance, while staying humble, of course. But if you carry yourself as a king or queen, you shall surely be regarded as one. It's like what Baltasar Gracian once said, and that is that I've got the quote pulled up right here. Everyone should be royal after his own fashion. Let all your actions, even though they are not those of a king, be in their own sphere worthy of one. Be sublime in your deeds, lofty in your thoughts, and in all of your doings, show that you deserve to be a king, even though you're not one in reality. And so I think that's the long way of how we got here, and a little bit of the why behind where we're at.
Goodness, you're a very well-spoken individual, and clearly,
Tend to prattle on a bit too, don't I?
It seems you and I
great.
You and I share that in common. Where once we're interested in a topic, we are very much into. And I was gonna say, eloquent is a very, very good word to describe, because the verbiage and the pardon me. Whew, like I said, I was doing a little bit of voice work, and so my voice is just a little recovering on that. Had to do some things, my gosh. Pardon me while I'm getting bombarded by Dr. Pepper. That Dr. Pepper is bigger than usual. But yeah,
it's huge.
It is huge. I don't know.
Actress to the bishop.
But goodness, like just hearing about this story and just hearing how this came to be, I mean, clearly this has meant a lot to you, especially from your experiences doing radio to transitioning then to a different entertainment medium to begin with, and finally landing in where you are now, especially with Project Estadia helping you get to this point. You know, as you were talking about that, without your agency, I am drinking water, settle down, all of you.
I really want to get into your niche on the platform, because I actually think that you have a really good spot. Talking about how many people like become VTubers. However, Val, there is something we've forgotten.
What?
A certain redeem that was made.
Yeah.
Sometime ago.
Oh, good man. What is wrong with all of you? Oh my goodness.
I'm waiting.
So
I'm waiting for my favorite part of the show.
Pardon me. Is it just me or is Phantom's mic bugging? Nope. That is Discord being a little funky wonky. So sometimes that happens.
Is it being weird?
Yeah, it happens.
Fun.
So pardon us for a moment, Rex, as we are. That fish dwelled on my forehead a little too long.
I see the chat. Did someone do a riot? Oh, there it is.
Mina, you did another
there
one?
was one way earlier, so we have two now.
if you don't mind, I can certainly join in with you. I
Let's
myself have that.
go!
Have that
let's
routine.
go. I was so hoping you
So-
would say that. Well, we all have to do 2 of them.
Yep, we have to do 2.
2 of them? We can do that. We can handle it.
Yep. Oh, there's the airstrike. There it is. That's what we are waiting on. Oh, there's one more thing left for this to be a true VOD episode, and I won't say it, but I'll wait for it. I know it'll happen. It'll happen at some
Thank
point.
goodness I bought a new chair where I bought a new chair where the arms are bolted in properly, because last time that happened, like really happened, I fell out of my chair and broke the armrest.
Oh dear.
It was great. No, it was fantastic. The best content that's come out of the channel so far. It was my absolute favorite.
Yeah, guys, if you haven't seen it, I put out a channel trailer, so check that out. You can see. Don't you tee-hee me. So yeah, let us. Anybody have ads? I don't want to do this when people have ads, because that would honestly suck.
You should actually see a countdown.
I don't see a countdown.
Oh.
I'm not seeing. Well, I've also got turbo, so I probably wouldn't see that. Then.
Turbo is the way to go. Anyone who
Yeah.
wants to get turbo, because it's so much easier to watch other people, find out who you want to collab with. It's so smart. Turbo is king.
Or chat, if you're liking what you're seeing tonight, especially from our dear lovely Val and Phantom here, consider subscribing to their channel right now. There's a special that's all across Twitch, 25% off on subs. So it makes a great holiday gift, great gift for the New Year's as well. So subscribe today, 25% off. It's Valentine. You know the lad. You love the show, so why not sub? And while you're at it, give the gift of subs this holiday season.
What just happened? What just?
I want to click so bad.
Hold on, no. This is. If you guys want, pardon me. If you guys want the gift that keeps on giving, how dare you gift me 5 tier 1 subs, Tay?
Then, good show.
Ooh, hit Vega. Vamrella got hit too.
Oh my gosh.
Very nice. Pig Rabbit, that's someone who's a friend of Speed.
Very nice. I am shook.
He's one of mine.
Well,
fantastic.
I will not have you doing such wonderful work, Rex. This is my show, and I will have the most support.
Hey, got Twitch to show up. Welcome in, Twitch. Good to see you.
As Cabal says, get supported, nerd.
Oh my god! No, we're waiting until everybody was back.
You did not. Yeah, we should probably do it now before. Yeah, ads out.
Counting down from 3.
Thank you.
So what we're gonna do? We're gonna go down the line. So we'll do Val, me, and then you, Lord Rexworth, and then we'll do it one more time if that works for you.
Sure.
No.
Once he's done being pelted with things, obviously.
Don't.
Which?
Where is it? Is it?
Where is it? Oh wait, that was from earlier. Okay, it just finally showed up because all your stuff is so far behind. Yeah. All of your stuff is so far behind because all the gift subs had to go through first.
Oh my god.
Okay. It just got backed up.
All right, so we'll go down the line. Do you want to go for? No, since you're the guest, I'd say you go last.
Yeah, he should go last. He's also gonna be the best. I think we all know he's gonna be the best.
Also, if you guys are not already following this wonderful man, go follow this man. I don't care what you have to do, what sort of hoops you have to jump through. Go follow this wonderful man. Go support him. Not only that, go find out who his wonderful agency mates are at Project Asteria, because they are also wonderful. Go support them. I don't care what anybody says. They all say good things. Don't worry, Rex. I just want to get that out there. Nobody's saying bad things. I will tell everyone to support you. It's my goodness. I'm sorry. Thank you so much for your wonderfully warm voice advertising my show.
Of course. It's a fantastic show.
Aww.
I love that you have replicated the core of the format of the old. I was quite the fan when I was a wee lad of Johnny Carson and his tenure on the Tonight Show. I mean, just chef's kiss, gold standard.
Aw.
Absolutely the best.
Well, thank you so much.
And this reminds me a lot of that.
All right, we have dragged this out. We must do the
Yes,
ara
let's do it.
aras. All right. So, I will do my wonderfully high ara ara because I've learned that is much better than my low voiced ara ara. And besides, if we all did low ones, this world is gonna collapse as soon as you do it, Rex. I'm just gonna say.
It might. It might.
All right, pardon me. I gotta get real close. Because this is your resident fembat, your resident femboy twink over here. All right, you ready? My gosh.
You're getting really good at the high one. It's kind of creeping me out.
Not
How much
bad,
is
not bad at all.
Short amount of time.
Good.
All right. Ooh, that was a good one. All right, let me get another one in.
My man just hits us with an ara ara that even the King of England would be jealous of. I don't think I'd ever want to hear King.
It was the most proper ara I think I've ever heard.
Coming soon, His Lordship's Royal Wanted Ada Arc.
It's a great segue into the next question I had to ask. But all right. Val got two. I've got one. You've got one. I'll get one. Then you do one more.
All right.
All right.
Ooh, I felt a little bit of flavor in that one.
Ada.
Ooh, what?
I'm just sitting here like an idiot with like the biggest smile on my face. Like I do mine. I'm like, all right. Shut up, Phantom. Wait, here it comes. Here it comes.
Are you ready? Ada.
Do we have a third?
I will give you guys a third. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do a third.
All right.
All right. That's fine.
All right, that means Rex goes first, and then Phantom finishes.
Sure.
All right, then. Here we go. Ada.
Oh.
So good. Dude.
Ada. I love all of you. I love not only everyone in chat, but I love my guests and love my co-hosts. This world could not be more wonderful to live in.
It is so much more
I
fun
think we
than
broke poor Chiro over here.
Pyro breaks every time, let's be real. Luckily, I have actually had someone in my chat recently where I've gotten them to leave stream.
Oh yeah, my colleague Celestial Tear. Well, that's happened on more than one occasion. When
I'm sure.
I mean, I remember my 2.0 debut stream. She came in, I believe, when I was doing the full model reveal, right as we got to the crotch, and. Yeah, and we were just like, what's the big deal? It's just a sexy anime husbando crotch.
Of course. Yeah.
And then I proceeded to play the nut button. She just gets flustered so easily, so we run with it.
Yeah, this is a great segue into something I wanted to bring up because I was browsing through your stuff and I was listening. Oh my God, was I listening to what you were saying earlier about the positivity and the like you already had like a quote pulled up and everything. You are so positive. You're so calming to listen to. You have such a charming tonality to your voice. The classic British narrator, in my personal opinion. And I feel like you have a very good cut of the VTuber pie that most of us don't have access to. You have the really charming and the really the wholesome area that I feel a lot of VTubers they start there, they do their best to hang out there, but eventually we all get sucked in to the sussy antics that is VTubing and
yes,
the idea that my face isn't tied to this, I can say, whatever I want. And like you've got like ASMR streams where it's like you did one stream where it was just hours of like you reading a motivational speech, like just giving positive affirmations.
Yeah.
Also, there's a poll right now. Vote in that poll.
Oh God, for who's are the most? I can't decide.
Who
I
is
have no
Lord
idea.
Rexburg?
Did I say Lord
Rexburg?
What the heck? Oh, that's funny.
I mean, I've got a lot of nicknames, but Lord Rexburg,
yeah.
I don't.
I was
that's a new one.
So what's funny is I was creating this on my phone, and I guess Rexworth just
Oh, I see.
so
Corrected the bird. That's amazing.
I don't know what that is, but that's funny.
Lord Rexworth, congratulations on your new domain, Rexburg.
Lord
Yeah, there you
Rexburg.
go. Yeah. Rexburg Heights, the newest council flat or real estate development coming soon. Check with your local estate agent.
Oh my
Oh my
goodness.
God.
Oh, sorry. That's really funny. Well,
Now including exclusive condominiums and penthouse suites with jacuzzi tubs shaped like the UK pound symbol.
Oh God.
You're successful. Start defining your lifestyle. Start defining yourself.
you better quit with that wonderful voice, or else I'm gonna have to commission you.
Yeah.
Well, my
Oh
comms are open. Details at lordrexworth.com. Just click on that Ko-Fi button to head right over there. I do custom comms, but slots are limited. So if you're going to get a comm in, then best to do it now.
Yes. I'm going to move off to the side because I'm going to go use the restroom. So for now,
Of course. See you. We'll see you soon. All right. So now that he's gone, there
All
we
right.
go. Now it's the Phantom Show. Welcome everybody. This is the part you were waiting for.
Hey, all right.
How's it going? All right. So, like I was saying, you're in this very wholesome region of the VTubing space, which I feel is so underrepresented. So, was that intentional? Is that something where you were composing yourself different just because you want to kind of maintain that niche, or you want to stay in that zone? Or is it just something that you feel like it's just coming from like radio, where just naturally you're more used to having that professional demeanor? Is it related to the VTubing? Why are you in this section as opposed to others?
I think like you mentioned, it's something that just sort of comes naturally to me. I'm just naturally inclined towards the elegant, the erudite. For so many years, I had to maintain that sort of professional demeanor. I found that it works well when I'm trying to present myself to the world, to entertain, when I have that sort of persona and presenting that to everyone. It tends to resonate more than if I were to just be some rando playing a game.
Right.
Yeah. It sort of comes naturally to me. IRL, I regard myself as, I carry myself very much like as a gentleman should. I think that it's something that's sorely lacking, that sense of chivalry in this world, and I do my part to preserve that as much as I can. I am the sort of person that even IRL, I actually feel more naturally in my element and feel more comfortable wearing a suit and tie than I do in more casual clothes. So that's, I mean, and not only that, it's something that when I do go out for business purposes, meet with people for business, that is what I'm wearing. Even in this day and age, where even some of my superiors at my IRL job, they tend to go a bit more business casual or dressy casual. I'm the one that will put on a suit, especially if I know that there's a rather important occasion that I believe warrants it. Yeah, so, and as far as occupying certain spaces, I mean, with the whole emphasis on positivity, I know that we Brits tend to be a rather cynical lot. Having been what I consider to be sort of a child of two worlds, family originates from the United Kingdom, but have spent a considerable amount of time here in America. That sense of American optimism, I think, has sort of rubbed off on me. And so I tend to present and project that out into the world. If for no other reason than the world's got enough negative things to focus on and talk about. So let's be the change that we want to see in the world. Let's, try and exercise a bit of positivity, and try and be encouraging. And I think it goes a long way. It's certainly, I, I don't know, if I had to boil it down to a phrase, it's sort of the thing of you catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. So I figure, you know what, try positivity. It costs you nothing to be that way with other people. It costs you nothing to be kind and compassionate with other people, and just speaking to a even more intimately personal level. My own faith informs me of that sort of thing, because that's how behavior is modeled, and yeah, so that's just what I try to put out to the world as best I can.
Well, that's fantastic. I mean, there's so much, like you said, there's so much negativity out there, and there's so many people that just don't bother to try and look at the brighter side of things. They always seem to focus on either the negative, or some people will focus just on themselves. They'll be positive, but everything is sort of not egotistical per se, but more self-centric. And that was
Right.
something where we had I have some things going on where we need to go to a very well-renowned hospital for an appointment, and the appointment involves my wife, and she recently contracted COVID,
Oh
and so we
goodness.
are like, oh, we're only 3 days away. We really need this appointment. It is like an urgent appointment. Um, like, and there was a lot of talk of going anyways, and I was immediately shot it down. I was like, there is no way. I was like, this is a very prestigious institution. There a lot of people go here who have severe medical issues. Someone already went out of their house when they knew they were sick and put myself and my wife at risk by walking around with coronavirus. Whether they're masked or not, we'll never know. But regardless, they went outside while they had it. They might not have known, they might have known, but at the end of the day, someone else did the same thing, and it affected us. And I immediately shot it down to everyone's dismay. Is that the correct word? I believe it is. But I was like, nope. Someone just did this to us. We're not doing it to someone else. We're not passing the buck. And the appointment got pushed out like a week. And it was something where, for me, as like, I consider myself a person of integrity. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, or I'm going to do my damn best to do it. If I know that we are sick and that like we could spread that to someone else, I'm not going to uproot someone else's time just because I'm like, oh, well, this is really important. We need this, so we're going to go anyways, and other people will deal. So I feel like it's a sign of like you said, being like a traditional gentleman. Like, they don't exist anymore because there's so many of those ideals that they just faded. I don't know where they went, but they're just gone. Holding doors open for people, like people when they're quitting their jobs, they'll like go off on people instead of giving a 2-week notice, like telling everyone thank you for the opportunity and then exiting. You can talk all the crap you want afterwards, but yeah, I feel like that speaks to me a lot, because I feel that I I put myself in a position where I hold myself very accountable for being a beacon of positivity rather than allowing myself to sort of just focus on me. It's the easy thing to do, because you can only think your own thoughts. you can only feel your own emotions, your own pain, and it's difficult to step outside of yourself sometimes.
That's true.
Well,
That's very true.
Kind of piggybacking off of that, because since all of us are VTubers and content creators, especially within VTubers, and with a lot of that's happened recently with Twitch's new guideline stuff in the aftermath of that, which I'm not going to talk about that here. I'm not going to talk about it today. That's more, we'll be talking about that a little more tomorrow with our guest then. But as content creators, especially as VTubers, since we're not the traditional streamers, would you say we have even more responsibility to uphold those more hopeful and optimistic and rather chivalrous things displayed on stream? Like, not that we're obligated to that, but we're urged probably a little more, because of course we have people who are streaming who you have somebody who is say so or somebody who is relatively pure on stream, which I can't think of many off the top of my head, but you have somebody like Project Melody, who's pretty well known among her fans of what she does, which there's nothing wrong with that at all. That's just some people do that. So I guess coming back to what I was saying is, do you think we as VTubers, as content creators, have a little more of a responsibility to present that side of, as you say, bring, catching flies with honey rather than vinegar?
Well, ultimately, we can all make our own decisions, and some people will choose one thing, some people choose another, some people try to go maybe a third way. I would say that the one thing that we have a responsibility to do is perhaps have a recognition, a consciousness, an awareness of how much of an influence that we can have on other people's lives.
Yes.
Be aware that what you say, even how you say it, and what you do can have an impact, good, bad, or indifferent, in other people's lives. I should like to be remembered as someone who made a very positive impact in other people's lives. It sounds incredibly maudlin and sentimentally romantic, but I often think of that old film with Jimmy Stewart, It's a Wonderful Life, which is quite appropriate considering we're coming up on Christmas.
I love that movie.
Yeah, no, it when it first came out, it was panned and ridiculed as just being this overly saccharine, overly sentimental type film that just was not worthy of anyone's time. But it kept coming back, and now it's a cult picture, which just goes to show you that critics, they don't know everything. But there's gosh, what was that line from I have to look this up, from It's a Wonderful Life. It was Clarence who said it. Each man's life touches so many other lives. When he isn't around, he leaves an awful hole, doesn't he? And I shudder to think with some people that I know, not naming names, of course, what would have happened had we never met, and had we not been introduced via this whole VTubing space. Frankly, I really don't want to think about the alternative with some people. Just the scenarios that I can imagine in my mind could have been so much worse. But also at the same time knowing that, we do what we can to encourage as friends and as acquaintances and as professional colleagues in the space, but knowing that we can't save everybody, unfortunate as it may be, and we're also nobody here is a therapist except those who happen to be licensed as therapists. So it's and it you meet all sorts of interesting people, and interesting can go multiple ways in terms of who and what you meet and where they're coming from and what they've been through. And yeah, I would think circling back to your question though, just more than anything, just be cognizant of that, and remember that yes, we may be hidden behind avatars or these digital marionettes that we have that are VTuber models, but there are still people out there. There are people behind the models, and there's also people in your chat. And I don't think anybody ever went wrong by just exercising a little more discretion and maybe just a little more compassion for other people.
Well, it also reminds me of for anybody who knows of the show. Thank you, Nina. I'll drink after I finish this thought. It kind of reminds me of a quote from the animated show The Boondocks, which there's a lot of things about that show, that one could talk about. But there's a particular quote from the show itself that really sticks out to me, because it's just so simple and you wouldn't expect it from a show that talks about and jokes about serious subject matters, such as the ones that talk to. But inside the show, one of the characters is having an internal struggle about wanting to be proactive and do something, but he knew that ultimately there was nothing he could do. And so he was being comforted by his grandfather. And so what was said was, he says, "Granddad, what do you do when you can't do nothing, but there's nothing you can do?" Meaning, what do you do when you feel compelled that you have to act, but you ultimately cannot? You ultimately cannot do anything. So he says, what do you do when you can't do nothing, but there's nothing you can do? And his response was, you do what you can. And I feel like just that simple statement of just doing what you can do, showing that conscious decision, using your agency to do something to the best of your abilities, to do what you can, is better than doing nothing at all. Because at the end of the day, you can't save everybody. But if you're able to make a difference in one way or another, I feel like it's just better than nothing. It's the story of the boy who's throwing starfishes back into the sea every morning, because the guy comes down, he just sees this boy throwing starfishes. There's like, over 1,000 starfish on this shore. He keeps throwing them back into the ocean. And so at a certain point, the old man comes down, he looks at the boy, he's like, "Boy, you know that there's like over 1,000 starfishes, hundreds of starfishes on this shore. Surely you can't possibly think that you would make a difference in it." And so the boy reaches down and picks one up and throws it back in the ocean and says, "Well, I just made a difference for that one." And so I feel like that certainly applies to what you're saying of, even if it's just one individual, it's still more than enough.
Yes, very true.
So it's you have very pure and very noble insights into this very sometimes cutthroat profession that we have of, sometimes it's people frown on the idea of playing it safe in the content creation sphere, when it's you wake up and you're thinking to yourself, how do I wade through and how do I swim through the sea of streamers and content creators? How do I make that difference? Well, that was a question I thought to myself when I first started the show. When I first started streaming, I'm like, I'm not as big as somebody who is an agency VTuber, somebody who's an indie, and I didn't strike when the iron was hot a couple of years ago. And I got in at a time when the VTuber sphere is getting oversaturated. There's far too many. And is that a bad thing? Well, that's up to personal interpretation. But at that time, I'm like, am I really going to do something? Am I really going to be able to make a difference? Am I really going to set myself apart? And each time I do this show, each time I interact with the people in my server, and I interact with people on social media, I can see that even if it's just one person, I see how much of a difference my actions and what the good consequences. I mean, we use consequences with a negative connotation, but consequences is just the results of what you do, of an action. And I see that. Thank you, Robe, for that's my cue to stop talking. No, but it's just, if anybody is ever feeling down about doing something like this and thinking you're not making a difference, take a look at the followers you have or the people who you talk with and imagine them in a room. Whether you have 1, you have 10, you have 100 people, imagine those people in a room. It becomes much clearer how big of an effect you have. So that's enough for me. I have a habit of getting too sentimental on stream.
That's all right. That's quite all right.
So
you know, there's certainly a place for sentimentality, and there's a certain warmth to it and a comfort to it in a world that can be quite cold and cruel.
Oh, welcome,
and
Joey.
Can be that way quite often.
Oh yeah, that is true.
And I will say, just as a bit of encouragement to other people who may be thinking about getting into this whole VTubing business, yes, like you said, Val, take stock and be grateful for each and every single person who stops by your stream. Keeping in mind that when you're first starting out, you're not going to have a whole lot of people stopping by, but it helps to just, I guess, visualize. Going back to that whole mentioning of the whole law of attraction thing, someone once told me, Rex, you stream and you treat this whole thing like you got 6,000 followers, 6,000 people watching you at the same time. And I said, yes, exactly. You know, it's kind of a manifestation thing. You know, I try not to look at view count. I try not to look at how many people are watching, because nobody's watching. Not all of your audience is going to be watching at the same time. Some people are going to be watching you live. Some people are going to be watching a VOD later on. Some people watch the clips. But yes, treat it as though. Try to visualize yourself as a successful streamer and content creator. Treat this as though you have, try to visualize it in your mind as though, yes, you do have over 6,000 followers, or, X amount of followers, whatever number gets you inspired. And take it seriously as such, because the people who have that many people tuned in, they obviously take it rather seriously, even though a lot of them have learned to make it look easy, look effortless. That takes time and a lot of practice. I've even heard it said somewhere, it takes 10, 20 years sometimes to become an overnight success. And what that means is that it's just practice, lots and lots of practice. It's that whole practice meeting opportunity, and that's when all of a sudden the whole lightning in a bottle comes together, as it were. But yeah, just know that when you're first starting out, those of you who may be watching, considering getting into this, or maybe you are just starting out, please know that yes, there will be times, and I think we all can confirm this, those of us who are here on stream right now, you're going to be starting out with an audience of 1, or sometimes maybe an audience of 3, and that is the whole me, myself, and I. It was certainly that way for me, but you just keep going and give it your best, and just imagine that there's thousands of people watching you, and eventually the law of attraction will respond in kind, and you will have it. It's just a matter of practice and of finding what works for you, and finding your niche, and yeah, that's. I know it sounds rather repetitive. It's like, oh, we've heard all this before from other people, probably people that have many more followers than than all of us here do combined. But I mean, this. If so many of us are saying it, we can't all be wrong, right? So, but there's something to that.
There's very much something.
Absolutely. People put a lot of focus into the wrong aspects of VTubing. They put a lot into the perception. I've had a lot of people where I've gone to reach out to them and they thought I was some big shot because they didn't really take a good look at my follower count.
You are a big shot.
Like when I started. Yeah, sure. And I've had people where they were legitimately nervous to interact with me because they didn't realize that it wasn't like the gods descending from down on high. No, it's someone who has put a lot of time, a lot of effort into getting a professional setup. Like you said, Rexworth, I treat it as if there's thousands of people watching all the time. Even if I'm looking around and there's only like 6 people. I actually do keep a really good I'm sort of the same mind, but of a different execution where I actually keep a really close eye on how many viewers I have, what's going on in my chat. No, chat, obviously, I'm sure everyone pays attention to.
Yes.
But I keep a really good tabs on that because I like to see, okay, am I like how many people do we got here? How many people are here? How many people are interacting? Does that mean that this is something people are interested in, or are people just kind of here because they follow me, nothing else is on? I use that much more as like a roadmap to knowing what my community wants out of me. And are we looking for more of this gameplay? Or like, oh, does my community need to know what's going on in the game? Or are they just here for me? Are they just here to chat, have a good time, listen to my voice, interact with other people, or are they looking for the specific gameplay? And I feel like that can help you find your niche in the VTubing space. But there was someone just the other day where I remember I was looking through Twitter or X. I think I'm gonna say Twitter forever, but I know I should be trying to fix it.
Metal pipe
there was
scary.
someone, I was scrolling through Twitter and I saw a VTuber and she had a very cute model. And I remember it was her saying, hey, I just hit affiliate. This is so exciting. Thank you guys so much. And she hit 50 followers. And I said, oh, she has a really nice model. I need to check out her content. I'd love to see if I can get her on the VOD. And like, I want to see if she's someone who I could collab with because I'm always looking for more people. And I put it off by, sub goal started.
I realized I just sat there for a little bit on 10.
I put it off by a day. I waited 24 hours, and I went back on Twitter. And I was like, let me go find that person again. She's at 500 followers because everyone else had the same exact thought I did, where they said that's a cute model. Now most of them were probably simping hard for it and just went crazy, and they followed, they subbed, they did all the things. Now, I went from looking at that person and being like, oh, okay, like they just hit affiliate. I hit affiliate last month, or 2 months ago at this point. So like, yeah, like I'd really like to like get with them. Like I'd love to get in on the ground floor because this person has their model set up. I really like the look of their overlays. I just want to see if like how they respond to chat, how they talk to people, how they interact, do their vibes line up? Would I be a good fit with this person? Obviously, as long as they're cool, like I'll invite them to come on the VOD and get to know them better here as well. But I took that moment, I stood back and I waited, and now all of a sudden overnight, like an explosion. And that's something that people don't understand. That's not just how it works. You're not just going to be an overnight sensation or you'll never make it. There's a middle ground where people like you and I, and like all 3 of us really, where like we've started, we've done what we can, we've acted as we've held ourselves accountable. We've worked hard on making sure we have our own little cut of the community where we feel comfortable, where we know we can put out good content and
Good
and be
content? Never
consistently
heard
good
of it on
for-
this channel.
Yeah, I don't know what I don't. You know what? I don't know what I was thinking.
Nonsense. You
But-
brought me on, didn't you?
But yeah, like it's like there is a middle ground where it's like you don't always have to be like exploding into the forum, and some people don't. I've seen plenty of people where they spent years working to get affiliate, and that doesn't mean that they're putting out bad content. Like it could just be that they aren't good at advertising themselves, and everyone goes at their own pace because, like Val was saying earlier, we're super saturated right now. There are so many, like not even VTubers, there are so many streams and so many streamers to watch, YouTube videos, TikToks.
Yeah.
There are some people who still venture out into the outdoors and play sports and disgusting things like that. But so there's so much to do. We have so much at our fingertips. You have to remember that like not everyone on the planet is going to be tuning into Twitch and digging around to see, okay, like I'm looking to find someone new today. Oh, who's this? It's a fembat. Like I kind of want to take a look and see what's going on over here. You just gotta be patient. Treat it like I think treating it like it is going to be. If you want it to be a career, you need to treat it like a career. You can't go into it just with overly like. Obviously, scuff is okay. Scuff will happen. Be ready to pivot and change depending on what comes up. But if like you can't just go in with no plan whatsoever, just hoping people will show up because you're playing Lethal Company and just be like, yep, people will come. If I play this game and put Booba on screen,
that
they
was
will come.
I definitely didn't do that where I started streaming with no plan whatsoever. No, I'm just kidding. No.
I mean, it's been around since the dawn of time. There's always been games like that. I mean, there's Fortnite, there's Lethal Company, Phasmophobia used to be one of them. Dead by Daylight has been like a game that I've noticed. I know a lot of people that are just that's all they do, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's fine. Like that's your niche, but you can't just jump into that game and think that that's all you do and that's going to work. You need to have something that sets you apart, and I feel like everyone sort of takes their own time to find that, and some of us are fortunate enough where we find it very quickly. For me, my niche is that I am just what you see is what you get. Like I'm a VTuber, but you're getting literally everything other than my home address. Like you know everything about me. Some people will know things before my best friends do. I still don't think
My gosh.
I don't think one of my head mods who's been my best friend, one of my best friends for 23 years now, I don't think he knows anything about like the medical complications that have come up in the last 2 weeks. And but my stream knows all about it. They've had play-by-play updates, and that's my cut. Rex, for you, I feel like it's really going to be those positive vibes, those affirmations. Like I think that'll take you so far. Let alone the fact that your voice is just. I mean, I can't think of better bait to put on the hook than that, other than taking off the suit entirely. So it's.
Well, as we found out in the past few days, Twitch has decided to do a 180 before doing another 180, so they did a complete 360.
Yeah.
Did they turn
So-
it back on again?
No.
I believe so. I think that they've basically said with certain exceptions for what was it, pole dancing and some of the some other things that they specified. Yeah, they did a complete about face on some of the nudity stuff, but that's not something you're ever gonna see out of me. You might see Swim Trunks version of Lord Rexworth, but that's that's as far as I'm willing to go.
Heck yeah. I had something like that where my community made me get a shirtless toggle, and that is that immediately had drawn some attention and drawn some raised eyebrows when I did a stream where I had it off for a very long period of time because we were playing Power Wash Simulator. I can't get the suit wet, so
Yeah.
you know. Exactly.
There
Yeah,
was.
it just makes sense.
I will say this last thing, and then we'll move on to a question, like another new question that I had. where something that put it in perspective, because as you were talking about how Booba model 500 new followers, that's one route you could go, and then there's the other route of the content of your character. And the reason why I say that is because when I was, for those that don't know, and I've talked about this a little bit, is I meet with my guest the week they're supposed to come on, and I have a conversation with them because I don't like the idea of like the first time I talk with my guest is when when they come on the show. I feel like that'd be pretty awkward. That, you know, oh, we've never talked before, this is the first time we're talking. It's like, no, I like to talk with my guest beforehand. And so this past Wednesday, I talked with my guest Cynical, who's going to be on tomorrow, and as I was talking with her, something she pointed out, something that she said that really stuck with me, was she's like, you know, I get requests to do collabs and whatnot all the time, and sometimes people want me to be on things like this. Now, I don't typically do it as often because it's, you know, just not the kind of content she normally does. But what she said to me was like, your show looks and feels warm and inviting, and that is why I chose to do this, because I feel like this would be a nice change and a nice break to do, as opposed to a lot of the stuff that it just is going on currently with the current you know, Twitch meta and all that. And so how I felt and how I interpreted that was, I don't need the fanciest model, and I don't need any toggles, I don't need any big flashy lights. It's people who are the size, who are, whether they're small or they're big, and especially if they're big, like for instance Cynical, she has 20,000 followers on Twitter, and she has about almost 7,000 followers on Twitch. And so having somebody that big on my show who is just getting more and more is, I would not have dreamed of that. I would never have thought of that. But the fact that somebody like that told me that I want to come on your show and I want to talk with you because it is warm and inviting, puts into perspective how much having a good content of character and having a personality that is approachable will make up for any model, make up more than any model you could dream of. I don't care.
Oh man.
How dare you?
I've been eyeing that one up for a while. I couldn't do it to Rex. I couldn't. I was like, Rex was talking and he was being so positive. I was like, oh my god, I can't click it. I can't click the button.
Oh my gosh.
You have excellent
Thank
taste
you.
in soda, by the way. I have to say, I myself, my favorite is Dr. Pepper as
Let's
well.
go.
Yes, I just
Dog.
absolutely Dr. Pepper, and then there's a rare one that is rather difficult to find. It's an American one. Have you ever heard of Cheer Wine?
No, I don't think I have.
So that's sort of like a cherry phosphate flavored soda. It's kind of a niche product. You have to go to some of the fancy candy shops and the new old soda fountains for it. But if you like Dr. Pepper, you might like Cheer Wine. So if you ever see it, grab a bottle. They still serve them in the old glass bottles.
I'll definitely check it out at my local store. Yeah. But yeah, to finish that thought before I got flatulated there, is that if you're ever thinking that you need booba, you need big model, you don't. You really don't. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the same reason what I tell people, and what I've been told as a voice actor, and also in my experience of being a voice director, is that we want you for you, not for what you can do. Because when we want to see your performance, we want to see Rex perform, or we want to see Rex, not Rex performing this. Because at the end of the day, it's you who we want, not the voice and not the persona you can bring. It's we want you. And that's ultimately, as a content creator, that's what people want. Is they want you. They want you. And if you have a persona, well, that's still you in the persona, but the point is that it's your personality that you're bringing the character to life with. So,
yes.
Enough with sentimentality and uplifting things. We need to get into the hard-hitting No, I'm just kidding. We're going to move into a more different direction, and that is your agency, because I really want to talk about that. Because we talked about that a little bit, where it's not a full-fledged agency right now, but you guys are hoping that it can be in the future. So what agency are you a part of, and what do they represent?
Well, I'm a member of a group called Project Astadia. It was founded by Celeste Altair and Nobuyuki Volpe. Both of them fantastic content creators, dear lovely people. And they had previously been a part of another agency, ended up leaving that agency, and decided to forge their own path ahead with Project Astadia. And later on, they were joined by Val's World, by Shenga, and then later on myself in the mod team. But we've got many people who are members. And I think we're up to like 25, 27 members in total. So including myself and Celeste and Nobu and Val and Shenga, we've got Abbott Internal, Wicked Little Raven, Sam Short, Sakura Fubuki, Mimo, Masumi Miyu, Hatomi Knight, Genevieve Yoso, Dominico, and Berui. To just name a few. We also got Dawn Stealer and Leo von Clark. I think that's our full roster. We just recently unveiled Generation 2, which is funny. Gen 1 and Gen 2, we didn't intend for this to happen this way, but Gen 1 was mostly North American talents, even though I happen to be residing here in North America. And then Gen 2 is majority UK and EU talents. So we kind of got we've got this sort of geographic span going on. I think there was talk of me at one point being the first of Gen 2, but they decided no, we're going to have. They said, Rex, we're going to have you be the last of Gen 1, but also I think unofficially I'm sort of here to one of my unofficial roles, when I'm not moderating, is to kind of be that bridge of sorts. The English gentleman who still sort of keeps in touch with the homeland, still has friends back home, and still kind of acts as the diplomat between NA and EU UK talent. And just because I'm a part of that culture, I still associate with a lot of people, including VTubers who are from Western and Eastern Europe, and also from the United Kingdom and from Ireland, and they, we're sort of working on things to where we can kind of bridge that gap a bit more, because time zone wise, it can be such a challenge sometimes. I know we have a collab that we had last night where we were all testing out a new game called Ringleaders, and unfortunately some things came up where I think we had talked about maybe moving the the EU and UK branch of Project
My
Stadia
gosh.
over to Saturday, and having something with them separately. I don't know what ever became of that, but I do know that is going to be one of my goals and for 2024 is to have more of that bridging of sorts, where we bring in more of the talent from across the pond to interact with and have a good time with everyone in the North American crew. Because I mean, if anybody caught that last night on any of our streams, we had an absolute blast testing out ringleaders. It's an incredibly fun game. Those who enjoy games like Goose Goose Duck or Among Us, or even if you enjoy games like Eternal Return or League of Legends, that there's something in it, I think, for everybody that you'll be able to find and enjoy in Ringleaders. And I do wish the absolute best for the developers and the development team, and hope that they see nothing but success with this. But the thing that we noticed is that all of us together, we all just had such a good time. And I myself remarked, it's like, would anybody else realize that 2 hours just went by in a blink of an eye? It was like I blinked and all of a sudden 2 hours had gone by. And they're like, yeah, it really did. And it wasn't, I think it was just a lot of us just sort of playing around, not really being engaged with the missions per se, but just sort of engaging in almost random acts of violence against each other. But also just having ever so much fun. But we want to see that for the EU crew as well. So Project Stadia, lore-wise, I think a lot of us just sort of got plucked out of different planets and dimensions, and we're all just sort of here on the planet of Stadia, which is ruled over by Nobu and Celeste, who are brother and sister. We just all sort of go off and have our wild adventures, both separately and together. And I try to collab at least once a week with Celeste or with other members of Project Stadia, planning out some things in the future. I know myself and Genevieve Yoso, we're going to be having a Power Wash Simulator collab, probably after the first of the year. Just schedule wise, I think that works best for all of us. So that's something to look forward to. And I do definitely want to get in on the Fortnite action with her, because that's one of her big games is Fortnite. So there's that. I know myself and Sakura, we've talked about playing the Untitled Goose game, which is just one of those games that is so wholesome in its design, and yet at the same time you get to do just unspeakably terrible things disguised as a goose. And I can't wait to get to the part where we have a harmonica, where we're able to steal the harmonica, because I myself have I've got a little bit planned, just to give you a little taste. So look forward to that.
So what you're saying is that I see a Fortnite collab with you and I in the future?
Yes, quite so.
Let's go.
Yes.
I've been looking for people to play Fortnite on stream with.
I'm one of those people that I'm incredibly open to new ideas for collabs. I love people who are also, open and don't judge on size or anything like that. I have a tremendous respect for people. Going back to what you said earlier, if the schedule permits, I will collab with just about anybody, big or small, first starting out. I mean, my God, Razorwind and Inatsu Shiroi did not have to say yes to me collabing on Fortnite with them. They could have said no, go find someone else, go do something else, get some practice in, handle this yourself, mate. And it would have been fair. I mean, they're not obligated, but they were quite generous, and so I've been trying to pay that forward ever since. Whether it's with people who are, in the PNG tuber stage, who are just starting out, to even, big name people. Like, I mean, we've got Genevieve Yoso, we've got Abbott Internal, and Masumi Miyu, three of which, they have respectable follow counts in their own right and have built up quite the fan base on their own. I personally regard them as some of the whales in our group, and just we're absolutely just feel so blessed to have everybody in our group, really.
Yeah.
Because each of them, I think we've all sort of come together organically, and we have just become fast friends. And I mean, when you're starting up a VTubing group, a VTubing agency, that's a real goal, isn't it? To have people just become fast friends like that. I mean, that's a dream, and it has been an absolute dream come true for all of us. Just to come together and become like this family. But yes, absolutely. Where the schedule permits, I will collab with just about anybody. And I'm not really too selective about who I collab with. I mean, coming up on Sunday, I've got 2 collabs. I've got my weekly collab with Celeste Altair, where we're trying to wrap up Resident Evil 5. But then later on in the evening, I've got a collab with Carmilla Rue, who is an ASMR VTuber, but also is a bit sussy. So even though I'm more straddling that line of mostly say so, I've got a collab with Carmilla, who tends to venture into more of the sussy, which that's fine. That's fine. So yeah, but I love collabing with a variety of different people, and just seeing if we vibe together, and just have some at the end of the day, just have some fun. And I think all of us getting together to play Fortnite would be a grand old time, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. I mean, I think something that'd be super fun is a Fortnite VTuber tournament.
Oh, absolutely.
Just imagine how nutty that would be.
Honestly, I need to get you connected with Genevieve Yoso.
Yeah.
I believe she's got some type of affiliation with Fortnite somehow. She's got at least her own code in the Fortnite shop. But yeah, and I know she would make a delightful guest for your program. Along with everybody else in Project Stadia. So that, but yeah, that sounds like we're cooking something here. We're cooking.
I am super pumped for that.
Yeah. No, let's keep talking offline this. And,
honestly,
see if we can make that happen.
Honestly, I would not mind having every one of Project Stadia on this show.
Oh yeah, no, they'd be absolutely chuffed to come on. Yeah, no, and I have let the mod crew know that Val's interested, and so just fill out the form and see what you can do to set a date and time.
Well, no matter what, I know it'll be fun. I mean, if they're anything like you, I guarantee you it'll be super fun and a pleasure to do that. So I have actually another question is, because you're part of an agency, a lot of people don't really have the opportunity to learn a whole lot about the ins and outs of an agency. Now, I'm not saying you talk about all this behind the scenes stuff, but rather, for those who want to audition or want to be a part of an agency, is there anything that you'd be willing to talk about, for encouragement, or things that, maybe quell people's fears about working within an agency?
Some of those fears, I will say, just from my own personal opinion, are quite warranted, depending on the agency. certainly have not had any fears or concerns with Project Estadia, mainly because there's, I mean, there's not technically a contract, but there is a sort of agreement or understanding
Of course.
of sorts that it's like, you know, hey, kind of follow the Will Wheaton "don't be a dick" rule, and do try not to do anything embarrassing or bring scandal upon the reputation of yourself and everybody else, because you are part of a greater whole now. So there is that. But I mean, that I would say that's almost common sense, but then again, common sense seems so lacking in certain individuals.
That's why one of my favorite
when common sense becomes uncommon.
Well,
yes,
that's why
precisely.
That's why I love the saying "common sense isn't."
Yes.
Yeah,
No,
as
that's
simple
true.
as it gets.
Yep.
But yes, elegant simplicity. Yes. But as far as advice for an agency, number one, it's a numbers game. Play it as such. And I say that because be prepared to be rejected by many agencies before you finally hit on a yes. Be prepared to go back and work on what you submit as an audition many, many times. Probably keep doing a fresh audition over and over for each one. Because I have auditioned for other agencies in the past. I know Lucid Entertainment was one that I did submit a package for earlier in the year, to which they did not move forward on that one. Let's see. Another thing, and I cannot stress this enough, especially as we've seen with a lot of VTubers who were with agencies who graduated. For the love of everything that is good and holy, get a copy of your contract, read it over, consult with an entertainment lawyer or solicitor who has a background in that sort of thing and can give you advice accordingly. Do understand that in the legal space, what you see in a contract is subject to negotiation with certain exceptions of the black letter law. And I'm not providing legal advice, but I'm just giving you my experience as someone who has dealt with things in the legal world before. What you see in the contract is subject to negotiations and red lines all the way up to the time where you sign on the line.
Yeah.
And so do not be afraid to go back and say, and, you know, just strike out sentences, strike out whole paragraphs. And ultimately remember that this is a negotiation and that you are free to get up and walk away at any time. And sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is to get up and walk away. Because certain agency contracts that have leaked to the public, we've looked at them, and especially people in the media have looked at them, and some of the clauses in there are so onerous. It's like, did they even bother to read this before they signed it, or did they feel so backed into a corner that they thought, if I don't sign this, I'll never become successful? Well, spoiler alert, you can become successful without signing such awful contracts. So read your contract and have a solicitor or an attorney look over the contract and provide their feedback. Yes, you are going to have to pay them for their time. It's worth it. It is completely and totally worth it. It's one of those things that, yes, it's important to spend that money now so that you're not paying the price for it later on.
Sorry, I got told to drink water.
Yeah.
No.
And that's another thing. Once you do sign with an agency, do remember, as I mentioned before, you are part of a greater whole now. You are part of a bigger community. So yes, in some agencies you're probably given a lot more leeway to do your own thing. I know that I am given a fairly free rein to do as I like, so long as I don't bring any sort of scandal or tarnish the reputation of the agency through my own actions. Those were the big things I was told not to do, and I always strive to abide by that.
Well, it's do your due diligence of
Yes.
because the thing is that when at least in the VTuber sphere and what I see is having some sort of safety net is not just about you being safe, but it's also for the company you represent in the brand you're wanting to have. Because for instance, this, Phantom knows this, for anybody who wants to be on the show, while I do have people, like I'll have anybody in the show, the thing is I have a legal form that I have the guests fill out. It's immediate because in my time, and you would know this too, Rexworth, of media release forms are incredibly important because if you want to have somebody in your type of production, having some sort of a form to release their image and all that and use that is incredibly important. That's why when I have people on this show, I want to make sure that they know that they're coming on here, that they're okay with it, and they're okay with me using their image. And not only that, it's not only to keep me safe, but it's also to keep the guests safe, because sometimes, and this has happened with multiple people in the past in the VTuber sphere of, oh, I wanted to collab and I want to do that, but I also want to have some sort of reign and some sort of things in this. I want to have a say in this. And the thing is, one person could back out and say, I don't like you using my thing. You have to take that down. And stuff could happen where people don't like and they disagree. And for me personally, when it comes to a show like this, where I take the time to research and work with people to get them on, I feel like I really want to make sure both sides are safe, because it's having a level of comfortability. And we talked about that in our conversation, is making sure that my guest is as comfortable as possible is one of the most important things about being on here. I don't want people to feel unsafe. Now, when I ask to do a collab, I'm like, oh, it's just a collab. But with a show like this, I make it as professional as possible, as close to the real thing. And if some people don't like that I have a media release form, like, they're welcome to take it elsewhere. But this ensures that I am protected, I'm taken care of, and you as the guest are taken care of. So yes. It's the same thing as if you're with an agency. That's why there are these forms, there are agreements. It's not only to protect the talent, but it's also to protect the company that's representing them. Because at the end of the day, you are your image, but your image is also that of the company. So what you do outside of where you are, no matter where you are, is a reflection of who you represent. And a lot of people don't seem to understand the sacredness and the severity of breaking that trust and commitment.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's it. And I think that's been one of the big cautionary tales in VTuber news, especially this year, is the lesson to read your contract, because we've seen so many VTubers graduate from agencies, and they didn't read what they signed to, and it turns out that there was a lot of poison pills in those contracts that they agreed to, and now they've some people, I think there was at least one instance where an agency ended up adopting a VTuber, and they signed, they were so enthusiastic, and then come to find out later on, they signed away all of their IP when that agency adopted them, and so they had to pretty much start over from scratch, and that's devastating to hear. And that would be one of the first things that I would be just crossing out, and I'm saying, no, I'm not going to agree to this. And if an agency were to tell me, well, take it or leave it, it's our way or the highway, I'm going to choose the highway. I'm going to get up and walk away, because I've devoted a considerable amount of time and energy to building up the Lord Rexworth name and brand. I'm not just going to sign that away so easily. But that being said, as much as it's the responsibility of a talent to read their contract and have a solicitor attorney to go over that as well, there's some need for reforms, I think, in the VTubing world. Specifically, this idea that I don't know, call me overly sentimental when it comes to graduations, but to me, it's almost like a form of art is dying, and we never see it. We never see it again. And I just keep thinking to myself, why does it have to be that way? Why not present a talent with the option to buy out their IP at the very least, or after a certain time has passed that they've worked for it, just hand it off to them and say, right, go indie, Godspeed and God bless, and just let them take it with them. I I don't know. I personally don't see this need to take all these assets that an agency has spent considerable sums on, and then after a year or two, basically just chuck them in a digital file folder and store it on a cloud drive somewhere, never to be seen again. That just does not make any sense to me, from business standpoint, but also from the standpoint of art and artistry.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be a far better thing to let them go their own way and take that IP with them, but with the understanding it's like, hey, you don't have the agency to back you up anymore. You're on your own now, and sink or swim, come what may.
Well, I suppose that to some, especially in the corporate setting, and I'm completely fine with corporate companies. I guess at the end of the day, it's more or less a discussion of, or a feeling of, you are obligated and you are part of this company, therefore we are entitled to what you are because this is you're using our tools. And
That's
so
fair.
because I could imagine they could perhaps they could repurpose some models because they already have the framework and they can just make adjustments. But as much as it would suck, I feel like that's the only reason I could see, is just you were picked to be a part of this company, much like if you were a carpenter. Well, actually no, most trades actually buy their own tools and they use that, so that would be a bad example. But the idea is that a company giving you the tools necessary to accomplish the job, and when you're done, you hand those tools back. It's much like a police officer. Once you're done, you hand in your badge, you hand in your gun, you hand in your belt, and they take it back and you go on your way.
And the car.
And the car. And a giant couple $1 million steel suit created by the OCP Corporation. But then they just leave you with your brain.
There you go.
See, that's because Rexworth was streaming RoboCop Rogue City recently. So
Yes,
I was
great game, fantastic.
I downloaded the demo for that before it came out, and boy howdy, I'm a huge RoboCop fan. I love that movie. I love the soundtrack. I love Peter Weller. And so when I was playing that demo, pardon me, when I was playing that demo, it's just so much, because it's not every game has to be AAA. Sometimes it can just be an A game.
Yeah.
And that is A-okay. Because let me tell you something, if you guys want a fun game to play, RoboCop Rogue City is just a fun game where you just walk around as RoboCop and clean up the streets of Detroit. So
Yeah.
well, we have 5 minutes left. And this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Pardon me, I gotta do my plugs real quick. We have a Discord. If you're not a part of that Discord, please join the Discord. Let me do that real quick. Wait, that's just, I hit shout out. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? Where is it? Lord Rexworth. All right, there's that. You were playing Pico Park?
Yeah, at one point, with a dear friend of mine, Hazy the Boo, who's, I believe, set to have their debut sometime this next year. Yeah, that was fun. Highlight reel is available on YouTube, and of course I've got clips both on Twitter and also some YouTube shorts that are coming out over the next few weeks. that are from the highlight reel.
Yeah. Well, join, like I said, join the Discord if you're not part of the Discord. There's so many cool channels in there. There's so many cool people you can meet. If you're a VTuber and you want to collab, there is a collab channel for that. Not to mention, you can talk with all of our previous guests that were on the show. They're a bunch of wonderful people. You can also talk with some of our guests that are going to be on the show. So not only can you talk with people who are on the show, you can also talk with people who are going to be on the show. If you want to be on the show, you can also join the Discord, and we'll get you right on. Talk to me, talk to my mods. We'll get you here. I'm speaking very fast, but then again, I have done this so many times that it is second nature. I also have a Twitter. It's _Valentine0. My art was done by Apophis Nova. And our last question, our second most important question of this entire show. Do you have anybody whom we can raid into?
Oh gosh, let's see. Who can we raid? Actually, let me check and see if there's somebody. If there are any of my gen mates are online right now. Let me see.
While that is happening, we have an actual raid emote. It just occurred to me. I just had a stroke of genius.
Oh.
Did you?
Yes, I know exactly what this raid message can be. You ready for this? It's fine. It is good.
I don't trust you. I don't trust you as far as I can throw you. And I'm currently a small little Gojo boy.
Yeah, you are.
VOD squad. Love it.
There we go. There we go.
Love it.
Right?
I'm copying that in right now.
Oop.
Tell you what. Let's see. Why don't we go raid Abbott internal? Let me post his screen name there in our chat.
While he's doing that, not only do I have my Discord, I also have Discords for our wonderful, wonderful co-host here. That is the Phantom Fame. Go support him. He is close to 200 followers on Twitch, so support my wonderful buff co-host. I mean, you don't know he's buff right now because he's in the Gojo figure, but I want you guys to show our love and support to him. But most importantly, I want you to show love and support to our wonderful, wonderful guest right here, Lord Rexworth, not Lord Rexburg. My goodness.
Lord Rexburg.
Lord Rexworth, not only that, as he said previously in the stream, currently, as it were, you get bonus bits until December 20th, 25% off subs until January 2nd. So please show wonderful support to our wonderful guest and our wonderful co-host. My name is Val. This is the Phantom Fame, and this has been our wonderful... You're waiting until now to do that?
Of course.
I was so ready for it. Oh God, it's the best part of the show. Nothing beats when the guest starts also bullying the host. God, I was waiting for that.
What is wrong with all of you?
I've got all these points.
Why?
Yeah, of course.
So might as well spend them. They're burning a hole in my pocket.
God, I mean,
my gosh,
a master of timing, Rexworth.
Why can't you guys be normal?
Do you hear something?
Well, that wouldn't be as interesting, would it?
Not you guys. You hit me so hard that the audio for my Twitch throwing system just. Thank you, J-Droid. Man, I wish Bombastic was here. I was expecting that to be Bombastic.
Yeah, he's been busy lately.
Well, let me get that going. We're here on the VOD, like to keep them hydrated. So let me type that in. Get our wonderful, wonderful gen mate going here. And let me copy my message. My raid message. Man, a VOD squad. I can't believe I just thought of that.
So proud.
Yeah, Abbott is doing the Adopt or Not stream.
Oh.
So, should be fun.
Yep. Well, anywho. My name is Val, this is Phantom Fame, this is our wonderful guest, Lord Rexworth. Go check them out, and me and my mod might go into our general chat, for our general voice chat to play some Dragon Ball Fighters to finish that thing. So that may or may not happen, but you guys will know if you see me there. So without further ado, why don't we go? Join me tomorrow as we have Cynical Beanicle on the show at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and we're going to be talking about some wonderful things. Anywho, we'd love to see you back here, and we will say goodbye. Sound good?
Bye-bye, everyone.
Goodbye. All right. Raid. Let's go.